It started with a crunch. Not the good kind, not trail mix or a dry leaf under your boot. This was the sickening kind that echoes through your whole body and makes your stomach drop before the pain even hits. We were 2 days into a remote hike in the Albanian Alps, no signal, no roads, just endless green and that wide, open silence you only get in places untouched by cars or Wi-Fi. It was the kind of trip I'd dreamed of for years. Until I misjudged one step, landed wrong, and my ankle gave way with that crunch. At first, I didn't want to admit it was bad. You know how you try to walk it off, like your pride is stronger than your body? But the second I tried to put weight on it, I nearly blacked out. We weren't near anything. Not a hut, not a village, not even another hiker that day. And that's when the panic started to creep in. Because it's one thing to get hurt, it's another to realize there's no easy way out. We had basic first aid stuff, but this wasn't a Band-Aid situation. I was stuck and scared, honestly. I don't think I'd felt that vulnerable in years. And weirdly, what hit me hardest wasn't the pain, it was the guilt. I kept thinking, I've ruined this for everyone. They trusted me to plan this. Now I'm dead weight. But here's where the story pivots. Because I had done one thing right. Before this trip, after a late-night rabbit hole of Reddit horror stories, I finally decided to get real travel insurance. And not just the lost luggage kind. I wanted something that actually did something in a crisis. So I signed up with the service called auras.insure. Didn't think much of it at the time, just ticked the box, paid, and forgot. But wow, did that decision save my ass. We had an emergency sat phone with limited battery, just enough to get a call out. I contacted Auras, expecting some generic call center runaround. Instead, I got someone who actually knew what to do. They didn't just offer sympathy. They asked the right questions. Where exactly we were, how bad the injury was, how accessible the trail might be for a rescue. Within an hour, they'd coordinated with a local agency who knew the area, like actually knew the terrain and could reach us. 6 hours later, a mountain rescue team showed up, on foot, with a stretcher and supplies. I nearly cried when I saw them. I was airlifted the next morning to a hospital in Shkodër. The costs would have wrecked me, but Auras covered everything: the rescue, the transport, the hospital stay, even the follow-up consult when I got home. All I had to do was focus on healing. I know this sounds dramatic, and maybe it is. But when you're lying in a foreign hospital bed with a cast and 1,000 what-ifs swirling around, you get real clear on what matters. You start thinking less about Instagram stories and more about contingency plans. One thing I realized, and it kind of surprised me, is how easy it is to assume nothing will go wrong when you travel, especially if you're young, healthy-ish, and adventurous. But nature doesn't care how many pull-ups you can do or how good your hiking boots are. Things can and do go wrong. And when they do, having a lifeline isn't just smart. It's essential. So yeah, if you're planning any kind of trip, especially the off-grid, out there kind, get insurance. Real insurance. And if you're like me and just want something that works without a ton of fine print and hassle, check out Auras. You can Google it, or I'll drop the link below. I don't do ads, and this isn't one. It's just something that helped me in a moment I genuinely needed help. And honestly, it changed how I think about travel now. We prep so much for the fun stuff, the routes, the gear, the photos. But prepping for the unexpected? That's where the real peace of mind comes from. Anyway, I'm back on my feet now. Literally, still limping a little, but getting there. And I'm already planning my next trip, just with a bit more respect for the mountains and a lot more appreciation for that one click I almost skipped.